Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how
He's alive!
Welcome to where the weird ones are.
Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out.
Powerful figures in Hollywood as well as powerful politicians who are in fact not human. They're reptiles or they're lizards or perhaps extraterrestrials.
I don't think it is a human. I think it's a Sasquatch.
Go ahead and run! Run home and cry to mama!
Let's get weird.
What's up, you fucking weirdos? Welcome to another episode of Where the Weird Ones Are. My name is Kevin, but you probably already knew that, and if you didn't, now you do. Today's episode is with Jessica Carlozzi. She is the host of CryptidBits with General TidBits. It's a YouTube show. You can catch it there. She does an amazing job, and she's an amazing person. I'm so happy to been able to connect with her through through this journey. Um, we physically met at Squonkapalooza, as we talk about in today's episode. So it's been a long journey of meeting people and becoming friends, and I'll forever be grateful for this shit. Like it's amazing, and Jessica is one of those amazing people that you meet once in a lifetime kind of thing. And she's super friendly, super nice. So, and she's actually putting on an event where I will be speaking at for the very first time, and that is Cryptid Fest. It's September 14th, 1 to 6, I believe. And there's probably going to be an after party, which is going to be fantastic. So if you're in the Massachusetts area, swing on by. um, but yeah, so I was gonna go to Gettysburg Bash this coming weekend, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to now. Just a lot of stuff going on. I was planning on it, but work has gotten pretty hectic. So unfortunately, there's a good chance that I might not be there, but that's okay. I definitely will be at Cryptid Fest. Obviously, I'm speaking and vending. So, and the new hot sauce that I am dropping is Down the Rabbit Hole. That's what it's called. You can link up on the socials on the Instagram or the Facebook. You can see the ingredient list and stuff like that. So that sauce, I should have all 4 sauces at Cryptid Fest in September. So if you want to come try them out, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, Jess has some interesting stories. Some at her house growing up, or was it growing up? Her aunt's house, maybe? I don't know. She stayed alone in the house, in this house that that was in the family a couple times, and there's some weird occurrences. There's some weird situations in the woods near where she walks her dog, where she saw this strange figure and a big red ball. So listen, if you've ever encountered like a big red ball out in the middle of the woods, please contact me. I'd love to hear you. So Jess isn't the only one with this story, and because she thinks she's crazy, and I don't think she is. There's something to it, I think. So Um, but anyways, if you're looking to flavor up your food, especially where it's grill season, I highly recommend getting yourself some Bigfoot's Breath from Flavors of the Forest. You can go to flavorsforest.com/weird. Pick yourself up some today. Um, Again, I can't stress to you enough, this is probably the best garlic powder you will ever taste in your life. I promise. You will not be disappointed. It's very potent. They freeze dry it and they make it into a powder, and oh, it is the best shit. And it's the garlic. This garlic powder is what I use for my hot sauces. So I'm not just saying it just because they're a sponsor. Like, I actually think that this shit is good. So I highly recommend you go check it out. You especially if you enjoy garlic flavors. Like you like Italian food and shit, you're definitely gonna need the garlic. The spicy garlic is also good for a drink. I heard the Swerve podcast talking about how Matt recommended, an alcoholic beverage that he puts the spicy garlic in, and they were talking about how yummy it was. So, um, I'll have to get that from them, or go check out the Swerve podcast because they talk about it in one of their episodes. I think it's like a week or two ago. Um, but anyways, yeah, again, flavorsforest.com/weird. That's where you can get yourself the most amazing garlic powder you'll ever taste. Way 10 times better than the shit you get at the store. Um, Also follow them on Instagram, Flavors Forest. Uh, but yeah, dude, it it's good shit. You won't be disappointed, I promise. So, anywho, with that being said, please like, follow, share, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Obviously, you don't have to, but you know, it'd mean a lot to me. Leave a rating and review if you feel so fancy to do so. You can also leave a rating and review on the website where the weird ones are podcast.com. That's where you can get the merch. That's where you can get the hot sauce. That's where you can get the blog. That's where you can even come across the gallery of people who have already gotten merch. And you can see all their lovely faces along with the t-shirts that they decided to get. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who has been listening and or watching the YouTube and all that stuff, and you know participating, or I mean even just watching and listening is participating technically. So I'm forever grateful for all of you. This again, I don't know how many times I probably won't ever shut up about it, to be honest with you, because I never set out to actually gain a following and gain a listenership. Like, I just like having these conversations, and I'm never going to stop, even if the followers and the listeners just completely drop to zero. Um, the show will always be here. Um, it helps me to be honest with you. It helps me know that, I'm not crazy, even though maybe I am. Who knows? I probably am anyway. Um, but yeah, it's just it means a lot to me to be able to have these conversations, and it means a lot to me to have people that are interested in listening, and listening to other stories, and listening to the conversations, and listening to the conspiracy episodes. But next week, story time number 4 with Connie drops. That's Patreon only. So if you're interested in supporting me that way, that'd be great. It's patreon.com/weirdos only. $5 a month. It gets you a free coffee mug. I'll even show you the coffee mug because I have it right here. That's the coffee mug. You get Conspiracy Tuesdays, and you get story time. This past Conspiracy Tuesday that dropped yesterday, I felt would be better to just, allow everybody to hear that episode. I thought there was some good information there. Regardless of what wing you decide to support, which I kind of think the whole bird is evil, but again, in a perfect world, uh, you know. But I'm not going to get into politics here on Jess's episode. So, yeah, if you're interested in the Conspiracy Tuesday, it's not exclusive to Patreon. The Conspiracy Tuesday 14, anyway. So you can check that one out as well. So, and Chapter 5 of the Geeks in the Streets is out on the blog. So check that out if you're interested. And that's a bit about all I have for you today. So please go check out Jess on her Instagram, on her Facebook, on her YouTube, CryptidBits with General TidBits. She's an amazing person, lovely lady. She's out here she loves helping people, and yeah, she's just an all around great person. So please go check her out when you get the chance to. Um, but yeah, that's it. If you ever feel any kind of distress or anything like that, like you feel like you don't want to be here, please dial here in America, dial 988, the suicide prevention hotline. Whether you're in distress, depression, and whatnot, you don't even have to be considering taking yourself out. They can definitely assist you in uh, in those thoughts and feelings. So please do that. And if you don't want to do that, you can reach out to me where the weird ones are at gmail.com. Also, if you want to be featured on the show to tell your stories as well, that's a great way to get a hold of me is through through the email, which is where the weird ones are at gmail.com. So, all right, guys, I really hope you enjoy Jess's stories today. Again, she's a great person, so go check her out and all that. But yeah, that's all I got for you. So why don't we get into this shit with Jessica Carlozzi?
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Weird. Get weird.
Hello everyone, it's Connie from Crime Time with Connie. You can catch all my content over on YouTube, but you are currently listening to Where the Weird Ones Are with Kevin.
That's all night.
Yeah, about beer in Connecticut.
Beer in Connecticut, the armpit of New England.
Pretty much.
So, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode. So happy to have you here. Today I have Jess from Cryptid. Fucking I always. It's such a
That's
tongue
okay.
twister. CryptidBits with General TidBits. There we go.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, if you don't mind letting everybody know, the two people that listen to this, a little bit about your show, like what got you started and what do you do on there?
So I host CryptidBits with General TidBits, and it took me probably about 3 episodes to get through that myself. So don't worry about the pronunciation because everybody does it. I couldn't have just put like Jess's show. It had to be the most ridiculous long title ever. So sorry. No, I host a show, cryptids, paranormal stuff, anything that I guess is interesting that catches my fancy. I love having people on to talk about their books, their movies, their interests. And I think I had mentioned this to you before we started filming. You kind of run out of people to tell you're crazy to. So you kind of have to invite people to talk about your crazy with. So that's how it started. Yeah, no, I've always loved this stuff, but I just started that a couple years ago, maybe. I think I'm only 30 episodes in.
Nice.
Yeah.
What? Fucking A, I had a fucking question while you're goddamn fucking talking, and
It's
I
okay.
fucking
Is it
forgot
what's
what I
the
was gonna
best
ask.
crocodile in the world?
I was gonna say something like that, but so Jessica just told me this whole story about a crocodile toy that she was trying to get.
I've already spit coffee everywhere.
at the Outback, which I didn't even know Outback even existed anymore, but apparently it does in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So
Not for long. Not after I'm done.
the crocodile toy was not in her drink, and she was very not happy.
Yeah. I was kind of perturbed about the crocodile drink, but um, the manager brought over a shark toy, so all was forgiven. Yeah, I
Until
spit
she
coffee
goes
everywhere
back.
with that crocodile tail.
Do you have like a favorite cryptid that you've talked about that you've covered on your show?
I love the thylacine. I know technically it didn't start as a cryptid, but I love the sightings of it. I love its cryptid factor now. Just everything about it just amazes me. I had a guest on, Neil from Australia, who goes out into the bush a lot and does a lot
nice.
of, yeah, a lot of hunting. Well, hunting's the wrong word, but foot patrols for it.
Yeah.
It's just mind blowing to me that it could possibly still be hidden somewhere. I mean, it's not. I'm hoping we don't find it again. Sometimes. I mean, it didn't go well the first time, but yeah, that's my favorite. The mouth, everything about it is just the whole put together creature of it seems like it should be fantasy.
I don't think I've ever heard of this
No, the
creature.
Tasmanian tiger. What's its real name?
Siri.
Yeah.
Hey Siri.
Yeah, the Tasmanian tiger. It's got the mouth that opens 120. The stripes
okay.
down its back.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
Kind of like a wolf cat
Mm-hmm.
type of creature.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Very, very interesting.
They're amazing. The fact that 1936 was the last one, it died in a zoo.
Mm-hmm.
It hunted to extinction due to like confusions on whether or not it was killing the livestock or not. But sightings still exist now on the mainland, like originally New Zealand, Australia. They're still being seen here and there. There's some, I don't want to use the term sketchy, but there's some like almost pictures, I guess, if you will. A lot of people are getting closer to it. I mean, I want to see one. I want to own one. I want to touch one, but I don't want to see it back in a zoo, I guess, again.
Yeah.
Where it died out the first time.
Yeah, I don't really, I guess, like for rehabilitation purposes, like maybe animals being in a zoo is okay, but other than that, I don't know. I have like this love-hate thing for zoos just because I like them and I like being able to see the animals, but I also feel bad for them, you know?
Oh, without a doubt. Well, there's one up where you are, York.
Yep, York's Wild
York
Animal
Zoo's
Kingdom.
amazing, but it's also at the same time, like, I feel so bad for the animals because it's not the best of the best, but it's also one of those zoos that you could pretty much just get in the tiger cage because nobody cares.
Yeah, they
I
don't
love that
pay
zoo.
attention, yeah.
Yeah.
And the crocodile or alligator, whichever, I know there's a difference, but that enclosure is so tiny for them.
Yeah. I
And
feel
I'm like,
so bad for the animals when I go to York Zoo, but I'm also like, I can just touch these because
yeah,
nobody
I
gives a
could
fuck.
just
Yeah.
climb right in there and nobody would even notice. Just give it a little patty.
Just a little pat. I just paid $10 to just walk in here and jump in the tiger's cage. I'm cool with that. Yeah, that's another place we have to hit this summer is York Zoo before it's over again this year.
Yeah, I haven't taken the kids there. It's because York's only like half an hour, 20 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
So I used to take the kids every year, but past couple of years, I don't know. Probably just because I'm so busy, and they love going to Funtown Splashdown in Saco, so we usually hit that up fucking almost every weekend. So
that Boulevard and everything's awesome at York too.
Yep.
The bowling alley, all of that. The arcade with the games that don't exist anywhere else anymore.
Yep. And then there's a bar right across the street where you can sit right out on the porch and look out at the beach and everything. It's pretty cool. the sun setting. Well, like, actually, you don't see it set; you see it rise. So I guess you can't watch it rise or anything, but you can
Well,
see
I
the
mean, if you
pretty
stay there
colors
long
coming
enough,
over your
maybe.
head.
Yeah.
Huh?
So if you stay there long enough, maybe. If
Yeah.
you're at the bar long enough,
Yeah.
you'll be able to see the sunset and rise, I'm sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Have you ever seen? Holy fuck! That scared the
Are you
crap
seeing
out of me.
something right now? What's going
No,
on?
I fucking. I'm not. I'm trying to get used to being down in the basement, and when I hear somebody walk over my head, it's really loud and it scares the shit. I thought there was somebody was coming down the stairs for a second. I was like, what the hell? Have you ever seen anything that you could like attribute to being a cryptid? Like you're not sure or anything?
So yes and no.
Mhm.
I saw something that I can't attribute to being anything other than unknown. But
Yeah.
when I did see what I saw, I wasn't like, I should go further in to see what it is. I had, I had a dog, General. She was like 90 pound, big hefty bitch, like shepherd, not a tiny, I wasn't just walking a chihuahua around. And I used to walk her way up the street here, and kind of up at the dead end, there's a quarry. And behind the quarry, there used to be like a wooded area. And I was walking her down the road and I saw something. I don't know. It was weird. You know how I would attribute it to like a really small Bigfoot walking on all four legs. And it jacked me up so badly. I was like, we got to go. Like I tucked and ran. It was too big to be a bobcat. It was
Like
too
Puckwudgie size?
No, bigger than a bobcat, smaller than a bear. Human sized.
Okay.
But there's no way this could have been. There's no way somebody was like, you know what, I'm gonna freak this chick out by walking. Proportionally, it didn't fit human wise either, because the arms were long enough to reach the ground, while the back legs were also on the ground. I guess is the best way to describe it.
Shit.
Yeah, it was creepy, and it ran right across the street in front of me under a spotlight. So I was close enough to see the body, but I wasn't close enough to see like features. And I kind of was just like, oh, it makes your whole body just like ice cold when you do kind of see something like that.
Oh yeah.
And you're not your brain's trying to figure out what it is. And I booked it because I was like, turn around. We're going. Like, I'm sorry you didn't poop or pee yet, dog, but we're going home like right now. Like even she kind of like just paused. And kind of we both just watched this thing run across the street.
It's like one of these numbers.
Yeah.
What the hell?
And I've seen like that was the same road I've seen like a buck run down the street on. Foxes, coyotes. So the size, it's not something that is out of the ordinary for animals to be on that street, but this was a undescribable type of thing. And I don't want to just jump and be like, yeah, it was a Bigfoot. It was something. It was something just where you get that like primal fear in your body.
Yes.
That's how you can tell it's not like, oh, that's a cat. That's a dog. That's your body doesn't react the same way, I think, to a domesticated or like that's a cow. I'm not going to freak out. Your body sees something that your mind can't fathom, and you have that like different feeling in your body, I think, when it happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've felt that feeling numerous times. So
Yeah.
what would you say that it was bigger than you?
I'm only
I
5
know.
feet tall, so yes.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna tell everybody that you were 4'3", but that's okay.
Yeah. On a good day, I'm 5 feet tall. As I'm aging, I'm shrinking.
Yeah.
No, it was bigger than me. It was probably, I don't know. It's weird. This was like, I would say maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I didn't go back looking after I got home. I just came home and I was like, I don't even know to describe what I would see.
Right.
It was, I would say like probably man-sized, general man-sized, but bulkier.
Yeah.
But not as big as a bear. And a bear's legs are all the same size. as far as
Right.
I know. It's not going to be kind of angled like that when it's like when you see somebody walking on their hands and feet.
So kind of like a ape in a way, like where the
In a
arms
sense,
are
yep.
longer than the legs,
Yep. And the
and they're
back end was just slightly further. And I
yeah.
know bobcats are like that, but this was huge, way bigger than a bobcat.
Okay.
Bobcats are smaller. This was human sized, but that.
Hmm.
And it was
Interesting.
just, it was, I'm actually like, I have chills thinking back on it because I don't talk about it a lot, but this is probably the third time I've brought it up in public, like in my life, because
Yeah.
how do you describe that?
Right.
You can't.
No.
And
It's a,
it's the
yeah.
weirdest thing to be like, yeah, I thought I saw a Bigfoot on Oak Street. And they're like, ma'am, but it's a city. But behind the city is miles of woods. Like this is the same area that used to have bear caves in it when my mother was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So there are pockets of certain areas in town that something could live in.
Yeah. And that's you're like in the Bridgewater Triangle kind of area,
Fall like
correct?
kind of right. Yeah, Brockton. I'm in Brockton, so it falls like
Yeah.
right on the area. But my whole thought with that is like I've mentioned something before, and they're like, "Oh, well, that's not the Bridgewater Triangle." Like another city, and I'm like, "Yeah, but like creatures don't have a GPS to be like, oh, I have to. I
Right.
can't. This is city lines, man. I got to stay here." Like they don't. They can go where they want to go. They're gonna
Right.
venture out to where they want to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the cusp of it. But those woods were, I don't know. I want to tell you about something. I may have saw like a little Bigfoot creature, but this is the first time ever I think I've told anybody outside of this house this. I don't even know. It's not a cryptid. It was a thing. Same dog, walking the same dog years
Mm-hmm.
ago. Same woods, but like a different street. And you go through the woods and you kind of walk around and you go like a mile in and you end up at like a school where some baseball fields are. There's a huge depression, massive depression. Like, and I'm not an alien person, but it would be as if a spaceship crashed here. Massive depression.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not I'm not an alien person at all. Like, I will believe you if you tell me you saw anything but a gray outside your window. Like aliens, the one thing I kind of am not really
Mm-hmm.
fully believable with, I guess. I was walking her through the woods and I had heard like a twig snapping and like noise. And I was like, oh, it's going to be a fucking animal and I'm going to have to like hold her back, whatever bullshit. Cause it sounded huge. And it was just a big, this is so mildly embarrassing because it's the stupidest story. Let me preface this with, I don't get high or drink or anything like, this is not like an under the influence type of, I only do drinks when there's a crocodile in my Outback beverage. It was a big type of blow up ball, like a massive red and yellow beach ball, but like 20 feet. But
Holy
it looked,
shit.
the only thing I can attribute it to was a beach ball because I was like, what the fuck? And I looked to see where she was, grabbed her, turned around, it was gone.
What the hell?
It's the strangest, it's stranger to me than what I saw up the street here. So I don't
first
know
of
if it
all,
was like a,
both of those are strange as hell. First of all, well, like, let's just get that out of the way.
the beach ball kind of is more because it seemed more dimensional than real.
Right. It's almost
You
like
could,
you like jumped, like you passed into something and then you took another step and you came back or something
and it
like
was,
that.
I
Like that's how
checked to
weird
see
it
where
is.
she was. I came and I turned back around and it was gone because I was like, what the, I thought somebody was,
Wow.
I don't know, like like, you know how kids have weird toys? I feel like kids nowadays and their weird toys. Like I was trying to figure out what it was, grabbed General, turned back around and it was just gone. And I came home and I was like, I think I just saw like a massive pokeball in the woods and I don't know what I saw. That's kind of what it reminded me of, but it
Yeah.
was there and then it was gone. So it was more,
That's so weird.
but it happened right outside of the Big Depression in the woods.
Uh-huh.
So I have no explanation for that one. The other one, animal, possible baby Bigfoot, somebody in a costume trying to screw with me out of nowhere. But yeah, the big pokeball in the woods was completely unexplainable.
And the whole thing was red.
It was red and yellow.
Red and yellow.
More red than yellow.
Okay.
And it was there. You could hear it rolling in the woods.
What?
And then I I turned my head because I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, and it just turn around, grab her, turn back around, nothing. No flattened grass, no broken tree branches, nothing. It was probably about 20 feet from me. This was daytime, dead daytime in the woods. I've walked in these woods a million times with her. 2 seconds, there's a weird red, I don't even know if it was plastic or my mind just equivalated it. That's not the word I want, but you know what I mean. With a beach ball, because that was the easiest thing for my mind to see what it was. And then not even 2 seconds later, it's gone. Gone. It was like,
wow.
Yeah.
Did you experience like any missing time with that at all? Do you know?
It was so quick. I don't even think I would have realized I did.
Okay.
It was a matter of 2 seconds.
Jeez.
It was rolling towards us. I grabbed her, turned back around. Nothing. It's hard to explain without sounding batshit crazy. Like I saw a huge red ball rolling through the woods and then it disappeared. But it's connected to the same woods where I saw this thing up the street.
Yeah.
Probably by like, I'm not good with like miles and I don't do the Fast and Furious quarter mile at a time. Like I would not know what that is, but like a mile away maybe from where I saw the weird thing up the street was the other weird thing up the street.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
These are all like my dirty secret little tales that like, you can't, like I said, you can't just be like, hey, did you guys see the big pokeball in the woods? Or you're at Dunkin' Donuts.
Hello, twisted humans. Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting? Then this is the podcast for you. In 1952, there was a record high of UFOs reported. 1,500 sightings. There has been evidence of human sacrifice, devil worship, and it is haunted by more spirits than can be counted. A family of 2 adults and 2 kids reportedly saw a giant flying thing with glowing red eyes. And meanwhile, the family's nanny that helped Veronica to care for her and Lucian's children was found bludgeoned to death in the basement of their family home. I'm Alicia. And I'm Sierra, and this is Twisted and Uncorked.
It's your cousin from Boston who thinks you're crazy.
Yep. This chick seeing balls in the woods. Like you can't have that conversation with people.
No,
but, I don't know if it was like a dimensional thing or it just.
That's what it sounds like.
That's the only thing to explain. How did it disappear that fast? There was no, and I kind of looked. There was no like a popped rubber or any type of debris or anything like that.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't have normal weird stuff happen. I have like absurd weird stuff happen.
Well, at least you know that you're not telling a story that somebody else has already told, so that's a good thing.
I guess so, yeah. I kind of did some like look up online to see if anybody had even been like large red ball in the woods. Anybody see that? Like the neighborhood watch thing, like
yeah.
Even if somebody did though, there's no way it disappeared that fast on me. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And those woods are gone now, so I can't even go back.
Oh, no, shit. Fucking A. Massachusetts and their development.
Yeah. It's all... We took a walk up there about a month ago, and we had to, like, hike into, like, development where there were, like, tractor trailers and bullshit and kind of, like, hide and walk. And it's all just a big cleared field with rocks around it now, so they're developing something there. But those actual woods aren't there anymore. I mean, you could sneak in and do shit there, but the actual
Right.
areas where these things were aren't there anymore.
Yeah. Are they erecting houses or like what are they doing?
I
Do you
think
know?
it's just going to be a gravel pit for now.
Well,
You think
that means
gravel
they're
pit adventures are in the future?
yeah, that and it always seems like when like weird shit happens in
Mm-hmm.
like around a city area or a populated area, they tend to dig into that area of the ground,
Yeah.
of the
Yeah, it's
earth.
kind of like they moved the gravestones but left the bodies situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like I don't know, that makes me feel like makes me to me anyway, I don't know for anybody else, like anybody listening, but for me that like gives more validity to your story, and I feel like, like because government conspiracy wise, they're
Hmm.
like, hey, contractors, you should dig into the earth right here and completely like take all these trees out, and then there's no more trees and no more wood, so these things can't hide.
Yep.
And we're gonna get into the earth so like we can't like cross, so people can't cross this dimension because maybe they got like reportings of this big red ball and they were like, what the
I'm
fuck is
telling you,
happening?
I wish somebody else would contact me and be like, I also saw that ball. So I
Yeah.
know that I know I'm not, I mean, I know like it's not, it's crazy to say, but I know exactly what happened. Like I can visualize it. Like this is the first time, like I said, I've told this story in
Yeah.
public, but I can still visualize that day perfectly. So I know it wasn't anything on my end
Uh-huh.
that was weird. Like I didn't like lose any time. I hadn't bumped my head, nothing. So I'm hoping somebody else comes forward and they're like, oh yeah, off the quarry, I saw that red ball too.
Yeah.
It's the strangest thing. I haven't really looked up a lot of like other areas, even in the United States, where people have seen something like this because I
Yeah.
wouldn't think it's not a normal thing to see. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's
Ghosts, I'm
see.
fine with. Like paranormal stuff, that's fine. Big red ball in the woods, life ruins.
So, have you seen anything paranormal wise as well?
Yeah, I've had probably more paranormal things than cryptid things. But that's just because family wise, I feel like we've always ended up in a haunted house or a house that was wrong somehow. Like we had a house in East Taunton, Bubville, for anybody out there that knows East Taunton, that was really, really bad. Like the type of house where I would stay there by myself for the summer because my mom would take my sisters and go stay down at my grandmother's house because she didn't feel comfortable in the house. Type of situation where she's like, yeah,
Shit.
I'm gonna take the kids and go to grandma's for the summer. If you want to stay here, you can. If you want to come with us, you can. But like the house was really strange. Like I had to call the cops one night because of the activity in the house.
No shit.
Yeah. And the cops showed up. I was there one night and the lights just kept flicking off and on, off and on, off and on. I'm like, I understand the house is weird, but like now I think somebody's in the house. That's how active it was. I went out to call the cops, went outside to wait for them. It was like 4 a.m, so I was going to sleep and all the lights were off because I was laying down and they were flicking off and on so much. So I was like, all right, I'm going to call the cops, wait outside. You can see the cops coming down the road. Right as soon as they pull in, all the lights go on in the house. Like they stop flicking and just stay like normal. So I'm like, look, can you just do a walk around? Make sure nobody's in the house. If nobody's in the house, I'm going to lock up and go stay somewhere else for the rest of the night. Cop comes in, walks around, nobody. He goes downstairs into this room. So the outside of the room is the bulkhead, and the inside of the room is the door to the basement where the washer and dryer is. We never use that room. It's a storage room. You can't even open the door all the way because it's so full of like boxes and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
He unholsters his gun, or he like flicks the little tab on his gun, like the little like unlock, and he's like, "Do you have a dog in here?" And I was like, "All right, no, I don't have any pets. There's not a dog in this room." And I'm like on the stairs. I'm like, I'm gonna go wait over here if you're opening that door because like, why did you ask me that?
Uh-huh.
What did you hear on the other side of this door that you, a actual officer of the law had to ask me if there was a dog in this room? And he kind of opened it, looked around, and he's like, all right, get your stuff together. I'm going to wait with you. But like, it was a bad experience in that house. We lived there for probably like 3 years too.
Fuck.
Yeah. And then months down the line, after we didn't really talk about it as a family until we moved out. And my mom, we were talking about it one day, and my mom was like, I never told you what I saw in that house. And I was like, was it like a wolf head poking around the corner? She's like, yes. So we kind of both saw like the same weird things happening in the house. Like we both saw like an animal peek its head around the hallway, but separate times. Never told each other about it because it's just, well, no, we didn't want to in the house because it was the type of house that you felt like could hear you and get worse.
And
then I was like, oh, maybe that's why the cop thought a dog was in the house, because there's a wolf spirit somewhere in the house, like making noise when he was looking around the house for me. It was a strange ass house.
That's very strange. Yeah. I would have first of all, I would have. What'd you do when you saw it peek around the friggin' corner at you?
At that point, you're so used to the stuff in the house, you're just like, there's a wolf. Like each room, the house was strange too, because if you were in one room, you couldn't see in another room. So like if most house, like you're in the kitchen, it's open to the living room or the parlor. Yeah. You're in the bedroom, you can see into the kitchen. This house was set up so that any room you were in, you couldn't see into another room. So if you heard a noise, you actually had to get up and investigate what it was. So at that point, you get so not numb to it because it was still freaky every single time it happened, but you just get so used to like, here we go again, the house is acting up. Like I had a disposable camera that I had, that's how long I feel like, disposable camera, kids. I don't know if anybody knows what that is.
They might not, I don't know.
Oh, so I had a disposable camera I used to use for random stuff, like if I went out with my friends or whatnot. And I had that developed, and I mentioned to you that I would be the only one in the house for like months or a month at a time if my mom took my sisters. And there was a picture when I developed that of an inch away from my face sleeping. And I kind of was like, okay, like that's kind of fucked up. Like, I know nobody took this because nobody was in the house at the time but me. Yeah. So like, I'm so used to paranormal stuff. Like I seek it out because I'm used to like, all right, well, what is it going to do to me? Like if it didn't jack me up when I think I was 22 at the time when all this stuff happened. I actively seek out like paranormal stuff. I'm fine with that because I've had stuff like a random picture of me taken when I'm sleeping, like a weird noise. My sisters, and when they were home, also saw things like crawling up the walls in this house. So, and I think it was the area of the town because a lot of there was digging in the backyard. They were doing over the backyard and down. There was a lot of digging and development happening.
Yeah.
And a lot of people on either side of the house, like say there was 10 houses on the street, 6 people got like weird diseases also.
Shit.
Yeah, like the neighbor had like a rare form of this. The person across the street had like a rare form of that. Like it was a weird area.
Damn, son.
Yeah.
I think I would have cried if I would have found like a random picture of me sleeping.
It was the strangest. It was just weird because of how close it was. It was like maybe an inch or two away from my face. And I was like, all right, well, number one, nobody's home to take this. And number two, this is like too weird. Like it's so strange that you kind of just have to write it off as like, okay, well, that happened. What are you going to do? You know?
Right.
And there were a lot of artifacts. Like this was my aunt and uncle's house prior to ours. So there were a lot of artifacts that were in the house that probably shouldn't have been. Like brought over from like when he was in the wars and whatnot from like Thailand and Vietnam. And I'm like, this stuff is not good. Like we need to give it back.
Yeah. Did you ever like get the feeling that maybe somebody was living in your walls?
That's like an actual person?
Yeah,
N-
because I've heard so many freaking stories of some people owning houses for years and having like all this like weird shit happen that they attributed to paranormal. And then like just one day they figured out that there was a person living in their house.
I couldn't see that happening in this house.
Okay.
Um, that would blow my mind more than actually seeing like an actual ghost like slapping me in the face. To see it, think if there had been a person in the walls, but there was no evidence of anything besides us there.
Yeah.
Like human being wise, put it that way. And the stuff that happened was too weird to be done by a human, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a wolf poking its head around the corner and your sister seeing shit crawling up the walls like that's not a person. That's
no, and
weird
the fact
shit.
that like years after the fact, when we were all telling each other stories, like I did a Halloween special last year for my channel, and I was trying to collect some stories from my family. Like if we were going to tell spooky stories, and my mother was telling me the story about the wolf, and I was like, wait a minute. We're talking about like, you know, Aunt Teresa's house. Yes. Okay. She's like, I saw that same thing. So it was something we weren't telling each other at the time. We weren't talking about, hey, did you see this? Hey, did you see that? To encourage each other's stories. It was stuff that you just acknowledged and moved on. You just kind of were like, okay, so that happened. That was weird. Like, let's just not talk about it because it gives it power or more energy to like freak out about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. It does seem like the more you talk about things, the more, like you said, more energy it gets to make things worse. But
and this thing did not need any more. Like it was good enough where it was. We didn't need to acknowledge it anymore.
Yes. Yeah. I don't blame you guys one bit for doing that. But real quick, going back to the red ball, did it look like this? Oh shit. Hold on, let me dim my light a little bit. Oh, it already did. Let's see.
Don't blow my mind. Is that like the Target thing?
No, it said. Hold on.
It was probably the size of like the Target ones, I guess, if that's any reference. Or maybe actually no, it was way bigger than the Target one. Now that I think about it.
This one's way. It's bigger than a car, and it's rolling
okay.
down.
So yeah, this thing was probably. I'm underestimating the Target balls.
Yeah, the Target balls are like
shorter than me, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, this was probably like I looked up like this. So this thing maybe 10 feet.
Yeah, this looks like yeah, because there's a guy standing next to it, and it's taller than him, and he's putting his hand up on it.
Okay, what is that ball?
So it says an Instagram user captured an incredible footage of a giant 250-pound red ball as it rolled through the streets of downtown Toledo, Ohio. Toledo Museum of Art exhibit titled The Red Ball Project. So it's a 15-foot wide red sphere had been wedged between Roulette Jewelers and ice cream restaurant before a thunderstorm and strong winds knocked the ball loose, causing it to roll away. So basically it just was an art piece that got fucking pushed down in the street, started fucking rolling like crazy.
I don't think it rolled from Toledo all the way here.
No, it definitely did not.
No, that red ball will go down in history as like some unexplained weird dimensional beach ball that I happened to see in the woods one day.
Because right after you talked about it, I just like looked it up real quick and just to see if anybody had those kinds of stories, and that's what it came up with, was that
nobody's gonna tell that story. They're gonna be like, I can't, it's too weird.
Well, you told that story.
Exactly. I mean, between that and the weird Bigfoot creature, like, what are you gonna do? It's the same area of town, it's the same street. It was just there used to be a park on that street, and there was a cabin that people would rent out for parties and whatnot. They used to have like concerts there. So it was that area. The Lithuanian church used to have like events there. So it could have been something in the church. Well, I mean, not in a bad way, but it just could have been like they could have had a party once in the 1800s there, and it was just kind of like a rift in time where this ball rolled back into the 2010s. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, they used to have massive concerts there. Like, I think, Brockton versions of Def Leppard played there at one point. Like, smaller local bands played there. So it could have just been like a little dimensional rift where this ball was just getting passed around, poked into the nows, and then went right back where it came from.
Yeah. That's not, I mean, that would be a portal.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've walked through the woods tons of times before that and tons of times afterwards, and I've never experienced any type of like weird rift like that, I guess.
Yeah. I have.
Yeah?
Yeah. All right, so, well, first of all, I've told this story 100 times. Listeners might be sick of it, but you've never heard the story.
I've never heard it before.
I know 100% sure. I'm 100% sure that I've never told you. In the times we've communicated. So
we've parlayed, if you will.
Yes.
Yes.
So I was about 10 years old. I was wearing glasses. I used to wear glasses. And me and my sister were walking through the woods, pretending to hunt aliens or monsters or whatever. There was just like this light dusting of snow, and we found squirrel. I'm pretty sure it was squirrel tracks, and I was just like, "Look, an alien!" And I'm just like, "Let's go get him." So we're walking through the woods, and then all of a sudden, just like everything turned like a tint of blue, and about 20 feet in front of me is this little village of mushroom people. And they look completely like mushrooms. They're not humanoid or anything. They don't have faces. They have like these little nubs or whatever, and they're stoking a fire in the center of their little village. And they have mushroom huts and everything. And it almost like, because they like all kind of stop and kind of like turn and look at me.
Oh, so they could see you.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I get a tap on the back of my head. Now, it didn't hurt or anything like that. Just like my head went like that and my glasses fell off my face. And then I feel something on my shoulder and I turn and there's a mushroom person on my shoulder. And then like telepathically, he goes, "You don't need those." And I said, "My glasses?" He's like, "Yes." And then just like that, I'm staring at him. And as soon as he said yes, it was like, boom, like that. And my sister was standing there. And she's like, "Are you all right?" And I was like, I lost my glasses." And she's like, "Oh, shit, where are they?" And she, like, comes over. I mean, she didn't swear, but you know what I mean. She comes walking over, and then I get on my hands and knees, and I'm just kind of, like, feeling around for him. And my eyesight wasn't that bad, but I just couldn't see where my glasses had fell. And then I just hear crunch, and I was like, "Fuck!" And my sister's like,
found him.
And yeah, so my glasses are broken. I was so fucking mad because I did need them. So I run home. My mom goes, "I'm not gonna get you a new pair of glasses. You have an appointment coming soon. If your prescription has changed, I don't want to buy 2 pairs of glasses back to back." I was like, "God damn it!" So I had to go a couple weeks, maybe like 2. I think it was like 2 weeks before my appointment. And then we're sitting there, and the doctor goes, "Hey." He's just like, those little stools with the wheels on them that the doctors used to sit on? He was sitting on them, sitting on that, and he's looking at the paperwork, and he just kind of like spins around real quick. He goes, You don't need glasses. Your eyes are pretty good. You got 20/20 today." And I was like, what? And my mom was like, he doesn't need glasses? And he goes, no. He's like, maybe get a pair, light prescription for like reading and writing and watching TV or whatever. But he's like, you don't need glasses. And I was like, what? And my mom like
I have
was just like,
1,000
all right, I'm
questions.
not buying glasses at all now.
I have so many questions for you.
Yeah.
Were you young enough to think that were you like young enough to be like, Mom, it's the mushroom people told me I didn't need them anymore? Or were you of an age where you're like, this might be weird to tell her that?
Yeah, I was definitely of the age where it was like, this is weird. Now, I will preface this story with that I don't remember it organically. I had a regression. So I remember everything around it. And I remember, so when I did the regression, because there's like, childhood trauma that, just trying to heal and stuff like that. So regression kind of helps with that stuff. And, my mom wasn't a very great person to us especially me and my sister. And so anyways, so everything around seeing these mushroom people, I remember organically. It's just literally the experience with the mushroom people I didn't remember on my own.
And when you saw when you had the time slip, like you said, everything went like sepia toned or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like a blue tint.
Was it the blue tint and then you could kind of still see the outside, or was it just all?
It was just all blue. And
Wow.
the snow was gone too.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was like a tunnel vision kind of thing you were looking through, or if it was like the whole, like a VR type of situation where it was just all it was that.
Yeah.
I can't out.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And so when I got this out of the regression, I'm like, what the fuck was that? It was like, this is weird. And my therapist was like, yeah, that was pretty weird. So for a while, it was only me and my therapist that knew about this story. And then when I started the podcast and people started asking me to come on their shows, and I'm like going through like things that I've experienced, and I was just like, so I saw a village of mushroom people, I think. And that has been like a talking point now, especially because it kind of seems like they healed me. You know what I mean? They healed my eyes. So
did you talk to your sister about it afterwards as to like, do you remember me not being there for a second, or like?
Yeah, how she remembers it is that that I just stopped and I was standing there. And then she was like, "Are you okay?" So like to her, like what could have been like, I think maybe 5 minutes for me, it was like seconds for her. Wow. So she was just like, "Are you all right?" And I turned my head, she said, and then that was it.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, my glasses."
Holy shit. I feel like I was so nervous to tell you about the ball, and you're like, bitch, I had a mushroom on my shoulder. Like, don't you worry about your story. Like, oh, thank God. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's become one of my favorite stories to tell, just because, first of all, it's not scary. It's really weird and odd, and I haven't heard, like your red ball, I haven't heard any fucking stories on it.
I hope somebody comes forward with like a red ball story now. I really do.
Yeah, there maybe we'll put it on Reddit. You ever see a red ghost ball that looks?
Who saw the big dimensional ball around town? I need to know this. Okay, we need to have a red ball support group, please. Nobody believes. That's the thing, though. Like it. I know it happened. I like with it happened. You saw what you saw. Either people believe you or they don't. I can't make somebody believe me when I tell a story, but I know it's my truth.
Yes.
Like, that's your truth. And it's just a different, like somebody says, okay, I saw Bigfoot. I'm not going to be like, what are you fucking lying? I'm going to be like, good for you, man. I'd freak out if that happened to me, because I freaked out when I saw a ball. So it's, you know what I mean? You know your truth, but it's weird to find other people that are like, oh, that's cool. Like that. I wish that shit happened to me. And you're like, okay, cool. Like this is the people I was looking for. This is the people I needed 10 years ago when I saw the Pokeball in the woods.
This is where weird people go to tell their weird stories. So
Exactly.
that's where the weird ones are. I get a lot of like people that are like, all right, I've never told anybody this story, and it's a lot of fun. I actually had, so I've told this story too a couple of times since I started the podcast. Like random people in my life will just go off on a story of like paranormal or cryptid based stuff. So I work at a waste facility, and I was inside the scale house, and the scale house lady was talking to me about how her and her husband, it was last summer, her and her husband go up every summer up north to camp. And there's a nice little pond that they fish in and whatever. And then she's like, when it's, when Bigfoot starts throwing rocks into the water, it's time to leave or whatever. And I was just like, what? The fuck? I was like, Bigfoot, huh? She goes, or something. Something's throwing rocks at us. I was like, fuck, what the fuck? That is so weird. I was like, I feel like if I'd never started the podcast, she would have never just like randomly would have said that. It's really weird.
Yeah.
It's
people, it's certain people you can just be like, oh fuck, I can tell my story to you, man, and you're not gonna like make fun of me or give me the side eye.
Yeah. Your
That's
vibe
awesome.
finds your tribe, man.
Yep. No
For
matter how
sure.
fucking weird that tribe is.
So
that's one of the main reasons I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's one of the main reasons I'm throwing that this summer is I need all the tribe together.
Yeah,
for,
I was
like,
just
the
literally.
weirdness.
Our minds were right on the same thing. I was
Yep,
literally
it's like,
gonna bring it
weird
up.
people. That's right. Yeah.
So, everybody listening, Jess is actually putting on a cryptid event called Cryptid Fest down in Massachusetts. First of all, what made you decide to put on the event to begin with?
Last year when I had to drive 8 hours to go to somebody else's festival, and I realized, you know what? We can do that here.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. Massachusetts has like a lot of paranormal festivals. Massachusetts has a lot of like ghost events.
Yeah.
It doesn't have like a straight cryptid event. It's like, oh, we're gonna do a ghost hunt plus puck wedgies. Oh, we're gonna do a paranormal event plus somebody's gonna be there to talk about Bigfoot. No, like cryptids. We're gonna have that as the main event.
Mm-hmm.
And I only have to drive a half hour this time, so I'm very happy with the drive this year for the cryptid event. No, I mean, why not? It's the first year. It's a small event. I wish I knew in January when I rented the hall I rented that this many people would be interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would have rented a way bigger hall.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to rent a hall. It started off as I'm going to throw a little cryptid party. Whoever wants to show up, show up. We'll have some vendors. We'll have some beers and we'll just have a good time. And it's ballooned now. It's red balled now, if you will, to speakers. Probably going to get hopefully way too many people show up. I hope people show up. The hall holds like 200. So please, people, stagger yourself in if you're coming in. No, it's just going to be a good time. I'm hoping this is the first year of many.
Yep.
You know, we have some amazing speakers like yourself showing up. Very excited you're coming down for this.
Me too.
We have
I would
Mike.
have came down even if I wasn't speaking. So.
If you like paranormal, true crime, and some cryptids, or just anything weird, check out Ouch! Was That a Ghost? Brought to you by your host, Liz. You can find Ouch! Was That a Ghost on Spotify, Apple, or any audio platform. New episodes drop every Thursday.
Oh man, we got to try the hot sauce. We need some hot sauce here in Massachusetts. Mike's coming down to talk about his books.
Yep.
I have a director coming down to talk about like movie making, creature feature movie making.
Oh, nice.
I have a gentleman from Massachusetts. Derek Gunn is coming down to talk, or not coming down, he's in the area, to talk about Massachusetts cryptids. It's going to be a good time, I hope. And if it isn't, I apologize in advance. I mean, I don't know what to tell everybody.
It sounds great because this is the first one, first event that is like, yeah, we're just gonna have a good time and drink some beers. And I'm like,
Yeah,
fuck yeah.
I didn't want a lot of pressure. It's free to get in.
Yeah.
It's all ages. Like, bring the kids. There's not going to be a lot for them to do, but guys, bring your kids. I mean, I rented the outside so they can run around outside. I kind of curated like a lot of vendors that are specific cryptid vendors. So if you're looking for like a painting or like a book or something cool that you can't just go to Walmart and buy a cryptid anything. So I want to be able to have people come and get some shit they want and listen to a speaker and have a good time. And just, we can all go to the Bridgewater Triangle afterwards, you know? We can all do a ghost hunt afterwards up the street on 44. It's close enough. Actually, you know what? I feel like that's happening now. Like after the events from 1 to 6, by 7 o'clock, if we're not at Agawam Rock, there's going to be a problem.
I'm down. I'm
Yeah,
down.
we'll do a Bridgewater Triangle map and we'll hit all the hot spots afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, I went out to Huckamuck Swamp, and I'm actually gonna go out there again in a couple weeks with
I saw you
Phil
went to
Anderson.
Conjuring House. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the Conjuring House. That wasn't as fantastical as I had hoped.
Not at all. I went there last year for my sister's birthday, and it was a lot of hype for like nothing, I think.
Who was the owner when you went? Do you know?
The person that walked us around or whatever you mean?
Yeah.
Or the owner.
Either or, I guess.
I don't know. The guy that was our host for the night wore like these nasty ass tivas and had the longest toenails I've ever seen on a man. So was that the same person that you were with? I don't know.
No.
Okay.
So we had an older woman, and she said that she owned it. Like she owned it.
Yeah, that's probably the lady that gave us our money back because that's how bad the event was that night for us.
Really?
We actually got a refund because our host was so bad. Like we played the clapping game for 3 hours and then he sat on the couch.
Well, she was terrible at it too.
What the hell? They have this
like
amazing property and they're just like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, dude, it was like 98 degrees out that fucking day.
Oh, yeah.
So I understood like not wanting to like go upstairs and stuff and like do stuff with us. But it was literally like a 10-minute tour. And it's like designated 7:15 to 7:45. It's a half an hour tour. So we like she brought us into the seance room. She's like, this is the seance room. This is where Susan was exorcised and blah, 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 blah. And she goes, this is the library where, and apparently, you know, books will fall off the shelf. And the story about Bathsheba isn't real. It was fake in the movie, and she's actually buried at a Catholic church, and blah, 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 blah. She's not a witch. She didn't kill her kid, this and that. And then she's like, any questions? And we're like, what the fuck was that?
Like, so that's it? Paid $800 for this?
Yeah.
And then it's very like an overhyped little cash cow they have going there. I'm kind of bummed out about it.
Yeah, and they're building a campground on the property now. So
yeah, there's overnight camping things now.
Yeah. They have it down. They have a little like camper trailer out there. And a couple big like canvas tents all over like down the trail and stuff.
Yeah, you know how expensive those tents are to rent overnight?
I don't know. I didn't look, but I'm sure it's pretty penny.
It's like $400 overnight, and if you're there for like an extra, like you can't step foot on the property until like your exact time because you will get charged an extra $50 if you're toe over the line before 6 o'clock.
No shit.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
kind of bad. It's a bad, like, you see a lot of YouTube videos of like, I hate to use like quotes unquotes, but like influencers or podcasters going to Conjuring House and they're playing it up and they're fake crying in the corner. And you're like, fuck, I'm excited. And you get there and it's dead air. It doesn't even feel, it just feels used. Like it doesn't feel like I came from a house with wolves. You gotta knock me off my socks here. Like I need more than this.
Yeah.
And you just, it's kind of it's a bummer to think that whatever was there might have actually, if it was there at one point, moved on, and they're just selling the house as it's like a haunted house attraction at a fair.
Yeah, I mean, we did get a few things while we were there. It just wasn't like, oh yeah, this is definitely something. Well, so I did an Estes in the basement, and that was probably the only interesting thing that happened to us all night.
Yeah.
And so early on, we walked the trail like the minute we got there. We wanted to see the woods and stuff like this. And me and one of the other guys were like, I just gotta chill. Like it's cold in this one spot. And everybody's like, what are you talking about? So it was only me and this guy Scott that felt like a cold spot out there, and everybody else stood there and they're like, nope, it feels fine. And it was again at 98 fucking degrees out, and so then he was out in the woods later on in the night with somebody else, with another guy, and he heard Native American drumming. And he actually recorded the audio for it, and he played it for us. And I was like, wow, yeah, you really got something there. That's pretty cool. And a few hours later, we decided to do this Estes, and I'm blindfolded. I have the headphones on, and for like a good couple minutes, it was just like there was nothing, and I could tell like it wasn't hitting at all, because none of it made sense as I'm saying it, as I'm hearing it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I said feathers. So watching the video back, I was gonna post it, but those the laser grids with the green dots that so I thought it would be cool to like put that on me in the video, but you can't fucking see anything. It's just green dots, and I was like, God damn it. So I never posted it, but so he asks, he says, who am I communicating with? And I said feathers, and he goes, can you tell me something that makes sense to me? And I said, native. And then he goes, are you Native American? And I said, yes. And then he said, was that you out in the woods playing the drums? And then I said, being bold. And he's like, I would say that's being bold, that's for sure. He goes, what brings you here? Or something like that, something along those lines. And then I said, stolen. And then he goes, what was stolen? Your land? And he goes, and the minute he said land, I said land. Like it was almost like unison. It was like back to back. And then as soon as I said land, I got covered in like this, like somebody threw a freaking frozen blanket over me. I just got so cold, and I had a hard time catching my breath really quick, for like a good second or two, and then it was over. I was like, I threw the headphones off and took the blindfold off. I was like, I'm done. I was like, I can't. I just got really cold. But that was probably the only interesting thing.
Yeah.
Probably
we had
like
not even that.
Yeah.
We had a baby's voice upstairs, and that was about it, like a little kid's giggle.
Yeah, that's interesting too.
And I feel like that's a dime a dozen. Like I wanted to get,
I wanted
to get pushed down if I'm in the Conjuring house, like push me down the stairs.
Yeah.
That's how I want something that with the history of that. Like I want to be like knocked off my feet. Like I want to be slapped in the face. Like don't giggle in the corner. I need more than that. I feel like just this place, a giggle. What's that shit?
Yeah, up until I did that Estes, man, I was really disappointed. And there's cameras everywhere. Were there cameras everywhere when you were there? It's unnerving a little bit.
It is to think they have overnight trips. So if you're sleeping or like hanging out, you're still being watched.
Yeah.
Because
It made
you
me
can have the whole house to yourself, so maybe they do it for protection, but
yeah, I mean, I
I
get
don't
it.
know.
Like, they don't want people vandalizing and shit like that, or like
Yeah.
actually conjuring something in the conjuring house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I get that aspect and stuff and all that, but I don't know. Well, they also told us that we couldn't post anything on social media without them seeing it first.
Yeah, exactly. You had to pay. Well, if you told them you were doing that, you also had to pay extra.
Yeah, well,
If you
if you
told them,
had,
yeah, we're going there, and
we did tell them, but they said it's extra if you have a certain amount of followers.
oh, I should have. All right, I should have told them then because I don't have shit.
Yeah,
I should have been like, I can post. I only have like 5, right, guys?
yeah.
So
I
if you
only
actually have a certain amount of, you get charged per following.
yeah on YouTube.
Wow.
So like videos. So they
Yeah.
want to like if you're gonna be posting videos, that's what they want. If you're not, if you're just doing like pictures or whatever, that's different.
Okay.
But like if
Because I
you're
used some of that footage in a thing last year.
mm-hmm.
So thank God I have a shit channel because I would have had to pay them for it afterwards.
Yeah, probably. Which was yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I'm like, what the fuck? But I mean, they don't want
Yeah.
like bad street cred, I guess, or something like that. But
But when you have like bad hosts, you're gonna have bad street cred, whether than if you have a interaction or not.
absolutely, absolutely.
Like we ended up going for my sister's 40th birthday, and it was like a group of 10 of us, and it was so bad. Like somebody else in the group, there were probably 20 people in the whole group. Somebody else had complained. It wasn't even us. And I know I complained about, I told you about the crocodile earlier, but like we didn't complain about this. Somebody else in the group actually complained we didn't get the outside tour. He didn't do this. He didn't do, and they contacted my cousin and said, we're giving you a refund because we went through the footage and we saw what actually happened that night. And that's not what's supposed to happen there.
Interesting.
So like kudos to the camera for that night because she was able to rewind everything and say, here's your money back because that's not what we're supposed to be about here. Like we spent more time in the t-shirt room than we did anything else. It's like, oh, so these are the things you can purchase. I'm like, okay, so and the ghosts are where?
Yeah.
Like I'd like to purchase a haunting, please.
I would like to purchase a scratch on my back.
Yeah, I'd like to purchase somebody push me down the fucking stairs, please. This is the Conjuring house.
Yeah.
This is supposedly the hauntedest house in all of the lands.
So they're supposed to do stuff with you all night, the hosts or whatever.
Yeah, did they not do that with you either?
No, she just did that like 10-minute speech in the beginning, and then she fucked off. She literally went out back and sat with her dog. I went to go to the trail, and I come around the corner, and her fucking dog starts barking at me like crazy, like it wanted.
There was an animal with you in there?
Yeah, no, not inside the house. It was outside the house, but she also had a cat inside the house, though.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
No, he kind of like brought us in, gave us the little like 5-second tour, like the one you got, I guess. Here's the upstairs, here's the downstairs. Brought us into the t-shirt room to say if we wanted to purchase anything. And then we played the clapping game for an hour out of the 3 hours we were there. Like I was rip shit. I was like, I can play this at home.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, I don't want to play the clapping game with human beings, like other people. Like we're adults. I don't want to do this. No offense to like anybody that else was having a good time. Then we did the thing you did in the basement.
Yeah. Estes.
And he sat on the couch while we were doing that and just had like loud conversations with other people. Like we're trying to do
no shit.
Like, yeah, if you're trying to do like an EVP and you hear like, yeah, so when I was in Florida the other day, I'm like, no, dude, shut up. We're trying to do like sessions in the other room. The house is so quiet. It's kind of off the street. You don't get car noise. You're not going to get any interference if you're doing an EVP and they're having a full-on conversation with the lights on in the next room. And he just sat on the couch for the remainder of the night, loudly talking with people that, like, there were people that flew in from South Carolina, all over the place to go here. So I feel like one of those people that kind of like traveled,
Yeah.
complained because she must have watched the footage afterwards and she contacted everybody because we were all calling each other. We're like, did you complain? No, did you complain? No, I didn't say shit. Because you had like, and it wasn't even us. I think it was somebody from out of town that complained. Because we had like an hour drive. No big deal. We can do it again if we want. We can rent the house. If you rent the house, you're by yourself.
Yeah, that's what we did. We
Oh, you guys rented it overnight by yourself?
Yeah, we
Oh,
did the
that's awesome.
overnight. Yeah, 7 p.m. to 8 a.m.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's the. Was she there the whole night with you
Yeah,
guys?
she was there the whole night. She was in like the caretaker quarters or whatever.
Okay, yeah. Yep. Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
a little
no.
weird. And one of the guys saw somebody in the window of her part of the thing, and she was out in the woods walking her dog.
Mhm.
And he like went to her and was like, "Is there somebody else here?" And she's like, "No, it's only me." And he's like, "I saw somebody in the window." And then like as he's telling her, I'm pretty sure I saw a guy walking, like he was standing out on the porch part in the back.
Mhm.
And it like goes into the to her part of the like the maintenance, you know.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, there's a guy right there walking in there, and I'm pretty sure that's not one of us.
Yeah.
Like, so she definitely has somebody here, and she's telling us that she's the only one. Like,
He's probably like knocking on walls and shit while you guys are downstairs. He's like, "Can you hear me?" It's like, "No, I'm the only one here, guys. It's just me and my dog."
yeah,
Yeah, I
my
don't know.
loud ass
We
dog.
went. I'd be pissed if there was a dog barking while I was trying to do EVPs.
Yeah, for sure.
No,
I
we went
would.
to Conjuring in September, and then in October we went to Middleborough Town Hall. And Middleborough Town Hall is 1,000 times like it. The
Okay.
two comparisons were amazing. Like EVPs, we went with the lady that hosts it.
Yeah.
She does like a lot of, she does Oliver Ames' house and like a lot of the ghost stuff. And she was with us in the bathroom upstairs. And we got an EVP so bad, even she was like, "Hold on, stop. We need to go have somebody listen to this." And I was like, "What? Wait, don't freak out. Because if you freak out, I'm freaking out. Like, you're the ghost lady.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
don't fucking freak out on me, man, like, you're supposed to be calming me down." It was so much, like the activity, the atmosphere, you just walked in, you're like, "Oh, this is something."
Mm.
Like, and it's a
That's
very small
awesome.
group. Yeah, they only do it once a year in October, so you got to snatch those tickets up. Nobody else, don't put this part on. I don't want anybody else getting these tickets. Everybody, don't listen to me. It sucks. I want to be the only one there. But compared to the Conjuring, and this was like $30, and you leave with like evidence.
Nice.
Like, we had somebody tell us to fuck off on an actual. I'll send you the EVP so you can hear it afterwards. And if she wasn't with us in the room, I think people would have thought we faked it. That's how clear it was. Like, I'm so glad
Wow.
we had an actual person with us, because otherwise they would have been like, that's you guys. So I'm
Yeah.
glad we had like a backup, like, ghost hunter with us to be like, "No, I was there. You didn't hear it audibly. You only heard it when we rewound the video. I mean, the
That's
audio.
dope.
That's how insane it was."
That's awesome.
But nobody go there. Nobody buy those tickets. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Where is that again? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's Oklahoma. It's Toledo, where the big red ball is. You can go see the big red ball in Toledo.
Oh man, I wonder how long it took them to get that freaking ball back. Man,
It could still be
Shit.
rolling. I mean,
could still be.
oh shit! Did I close the wrong window? Yep. I went to go open up a window over here to look up red ball, and I just closed this instead.
Oh man. So what's the dates for what is the date for Cryptid Fest?
September 14th. Let me double check this really quick. Yep, September 14th. Rainham, Mass. Mill Street. Hold on. I know. 291 Mill Street. Here's a little postcard. 291 Mill Street. Hopefully the street work is done, because you're going to see a detour sign. Just ignore that detour sign and go right into the hall. September 14th, 1 to 6. Rainham, Mass. It's
And
gonna be a
it's
good
free.
time. And it's free. I mean, it's not, like I mentioned, I don't want people being like, what is this? It's kind of like a Knights of Columbus type of haul.
Oh, got you, like a VFW and all
Like a
that stuff.
VFW, because
Yeah.
at the time I was like, fuck, this is just for me, man.
Yeah.
I'm just having a good time. And then people were like, fuck, I'll go to that too. And I was like, shit, like there's gonna be
Shit.
shit. But first year, come enjoy, have a good time, get your merch, listen to some people, find a new fucking favorite podcast, I want people to mingle and find new shit and tell stories to each other and hopefully maybe light the fire pit and we'll have a fucking tale,
Yeah, that'd be dope. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Are they serving beer there, or is it BYOB?
No, there's a bar there.
Oh, fucking yes.
Oh, yeah. There's a Massachusetts Cryptid Fest, right? This beer's there. Like, cash bar. A cash bar, if you will. I'm not sure about the ATM situation, so anybody that wants to purchase stuff, like, bring your cash with you. I'm sure there's an ATM on site. But if anybody needs any info, otherwise they can reach out to me. I'm very excited to have you there talking about Maine cryptids, though. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time.
Absolutely. I can't wait. I'm excited. Anytime I get to talk about this stuff and to actually like speak for the first time is going to be fun.
What?
So,
what do you mean?
Like speaking, well, I guess I speak technically to people all the time, but like.
But your first guest starring role in a public venture?
Yeah,
Is
like public
okay.
speaking, yeah.
That's kind of what I wanted with this. I wanted people that, and I'm going to phrase this in completely the wrong way, but not like smaller people. You know what I mean? Like people that are like, not like, well, I did a talk on Discovery Channel. So no, dude, I just want real people to come and talk to other people. Like I don't want people that are telling a tale looking down on their audience. I want people that can interact with their audience and have a fucking good time. I want people like our podcasts there.
Mm-hmm.
A whole new Massachusetts base is opening up to you here. I don't want people that are too good to talk at smaller events because that doesn't translate well when you're not having a good time.
Absolutely. You're not doing it for the right reasons, in my mind.
You're not.
In my opinion.
You're not doing it because you want to. You're doing it because you want to be like worshipped or like you're putting your airs on and shit. I don't need airs there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of I can't remember what channel it's on. I think it's called Mountain Monsters. You ever heard of that show?
No.
Oh man. I mean, I'm sure they're all like
it's
really
probably
nice
on like
guys.
the Learning Channel or the Learning whatever or
travel or
travel. Yeah.
Discovery or something. One of those.
Yeah.
And they do like cryptid hunts. And they go out and stuff. And I remember, so I went to CryptidCon in Kentucky this past year. And I remember seeing them. And one guy was really loud. And he had like really high boots. Like, I think they were like muck boots or whatever.
Like waders or something?
Yeah, they were all the way up to his knees.
I feel
and
like
he had
really high boots on. It's killing me. I can't.
Yeah, high boots, cargo pants. And he had this really tight black shirt tucked into his pants. And he had this big beer belly and stuff. Probably a super nice guy. I don't know because I didn't actually conversate with him, but he was very loud and he walked around like he was a German soldier from 1943.
Yeah. See, that's what I don't need the Zach Baggins of the cryptid world at Cryptid Fest.
Yeah.
I need somebody that is having a good time. I don't need somebody that's boots get higher every time he fucking tells a tale. Like,
yeah.
I feel like by the end of the day, that guy's boots are up here. He's like, "Do you see how big my boots are? This is how important I am."
A new boot goofing.
I'm sorry. And the boots have never seen mud. Like, that's not the type of person I don't.
That's exactly how they looked clean too.
Yeah. Like, don't show up in your clean cargos and your clean boots and tell me about doing a foot patrol.
Absolutely. So the funny thing about these guys is that, first of all, some of their wives look way better than they should for them. But anyways, not saying that
I feel like
not saying that their wives are gold diggers. Like, you could they could very well love their personality. But anyway, so I remember
Well, the
seeing that
cryptid
guy with
world
the
is a big
boots.
draw to those tens. You know, I mean, come
Oh
on.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Those
Yeah,
tens
the
love
wives and
that shit.
girlfriends of the cryptid world, they just, you know.
Yeah. So I see the guy with the boots. I'm like, who the fuck is that? And they're like, oh, my buddy Drew was like, yeah, haven't heard of Mountain Monsters? I'm like, no. He's like, it's on TV. I was like, well, I don't have cable. I only
Mhm.
use streaming devices. I mean, streaming services. So you're gonna have to fill me in. So he's talking about it, and he goes, it's kind of bullshit though. Like he's like, they're pretty popular, but he goes, I don't know about the show. So literally that night, I got into my hotel room and I looked it up on YouTube, and I got to this one episode, and it was, like you said, the Zach Baggins of the cryptid
Yeah.
worlds, where they see a footprint and they're just like, oh, and they have their
Yeah.
guns and they're
Like
drawing,
my
and then
kid.
they're like, did you hear that? And they all stop, and they're all overweight and
Yep.
freaking walking through the woods. I'm like, you guys aren't going very far. I promise you
No.
that.
You in a golf cart? What's going on, buddy? Like, you're
Yeah.
not walking.
Yeah. And they came across, so the episode that I watched, they came across this like ritualistic circle with like animal skulls and torches and stuff in the middle of a cornfield. I'm like, bullshit, and I turned it off. I
Yeah.
was like,
See,
that
that's
was
what I
shit.
don't like. That's the problem with a lot of like cryptid shows now. You have to have this like fantastical, crazy shit happen for people to want to watch it. Like you can't just like it to like it. It
Yeah.
has to be like I still watch Zach Baggins. I'm not gonna lie to you, but
Right.
you take the first episode they ever put out when they were in Nevada
Yep.
and in that hotel, like
Yep.
their special before they got a show, and take the one that he just did when he's like he's like his hair is slicked up and he's got his jacket on and he's crying in the corner because a ghost touched his balls. Like it's so over the top and crazy now that it's non-realistic. As realistic as the cryptid world can be without full-on hands-on evidence, it's too much.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
that,
I mean, the ghosts think that he's hot.
I
You know?
mean, he threatens them on a regular, like, you're gonna come follow with me? Let's go. Hit me, man. It's like, and then a ghost makes a noise and he's outside in the car. I don't get it. I do not get and like I said, I still watch the shit out of ghost hunter shows. Like,
Yeah.
I love it, but you have to have this, like you said, there has to be skulls in the corner for anybody to watch a show anymore. And it's just not, it's not realistic to me anymore.
Yeah.
Those are the type of people, please. I do not want a Cryptid Fest. I don't need Boots McGillicuddy's there walking around like he owns the place.
Boots McGillicuddy.
Yeah, I don't need that. I just want some fucking real ass people to show up and have a good time with me. That's all.
I'm gonna bring my muck boots now, and
They better be up to here. If they're not like waist high,
I'm gonna put my overalls on
Yep.
and get my freaking camo and put my muck boots on. That's how
I'm gonna have like
coming.
a tape measure at the door and be like, 20 inches, man. You got go home. These boots aren't shit.
Oh, fucking A. Well, Jess, if you don't mind, letting the good people know where they can find your fantastical show.
My fantastical show is only on YouTube right now because I have not done anything else with it. So it's CryptidBits with General Tidbits. It's just like it's a small little channel. I have fun with it. I have guests on. I do little bits, which are like 5-minute episodes of voiceovers, just so I don't have to get all gussied up. And it's anywhere from cryptids to ghosts to Mandela stuff to whatever takes my fancy that week. And you can find me in person in September.
At Cryptid Fest. What about you go by the same name on all your socials too, correct?
Yeah. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube is all CryptidBits with General Tidbits. I just had a right in time for Shark Week. I had to throw that episode in there. I did a Megalodon episode right in time for Shark Week.
Nice.
But yeah, it's just a varied thing. Like it's not it's CryptidBits just because it kind of flowed with the general tidbits, which I've had for 20 some odd years as my Yahoo account. But it's a menage of stuff. Put it that way.
Well, I got your sticker right here.
Oh, nice. I'll have to provide you with more stickers come September after I order them. I'm so lazy about my own promotion.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's
show
all
up. I
good.
won't have shit with my name on it, but other people will have shit with their name on it, so go get their stuff instead.
Yeah. Well, I'll make something with your name on it then. How
Thanks.
about that? And I'll sell
Just
it.
one big
from me.
boot. Just put a sticker on your boot.
I'm just, yeah. New boot goofing.
No, thank you for having me tonight, though.
Yeah,
It's been a blast.
thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. I mean, I enjoyed meeting you at Squonkapalooza last year. That was fun. I've told the story about how I met you down there, and I walked it because we had a conversation the night before on Instagram, and then you were on your phone. I was like, hey, you're supposed to be enjoying like the outside. Why are you on your phone? And you're like, you'd like talk to me and everything, and you're like, and I could tell. I was like, you don't know who I am, do you? And you're like,
this bitch has no clue who I am right now. No, I know.
Not a clue, you said. And I said, where the weird ones are. And you're like, oh, yes.
And it's funny too, because like I meet people through their podcast name. So I'm like, so do you go by Mr. Ware, or like, what would you like? Like, I don't know anybody's name until afterwards.
Yeah.
No, I know. And then you made fun of my accent, so whatever.
Yeah. Hey, man, it's all good. Like a lot of
How
people
can you
from
not?
Maine have the same accent, to be honest with you. I mean, my cousin does. He grew up here in Waterboro, in the backwoods of Maine, and he went to Fort Hood in North Carolina, and he was going, hey, you guys got any beers? And they're like, what the fuck is a beer?
You're like, we don't have any beers here. That's like asking for a pack of Newports down in Virginia. They're like, what?
Yeah.
Like a carton of cigarettes? I don't know what to tell you guys.
What is that? You're missing letters. But yeah, so again, thanks for taking the time to do this. I mean, I know like time is, our greatest currency, and the fact that you took the time to spend an hour and a half now with me, it means the world to me. So I appreciate you.
No, dude, thank you again. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't have a lot of stories to tell, but
they were interesting.
I know. I don't have a lot of stories, but there's two fucking weird ones. Those are like the two I have. So, no, thank you again for having me on. It was a blast, and thank you for letting me bring up, the festival and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for everybody listening, that is the show. Please like, follow, share, subscribe, do all that bullshit. Leave a rating and review. I'd greatly appreciate it. You can leave a rating and review on the website, wheretheweirdonесarepodcast.com. You can also get the hot sauce and the merch there. And go check out Jess's show on YouTube. You might learn a thing or two about a cryptid you never heard of. So, who knows? Give it a shot, and tell her what you think about it, but be nice. We don't need negativity, and she's not going to change her show just because you don't like it either, so it doesn't really matter.
I might cry in the corner, but I won't change the show.
She won't cry. She's tough as nails.
Yeah, Massachusetts stuff.
Yeah, Massachusetts stuff. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Great. I appreciate you very much. So, with that being said, question everything and stay weird. And I hit the wrong button. I even tried to do like a face.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.
Because in the end, none of us have very long on this earth. Life is fleeting. And if you're ever distressed, cast your eyes to the summer sky. When the stars are strung across the velvety night, And when a shooting star streaks through the blackness, turning night into day, make a wish.